Welcome, everybody. You are here with Real Talk with Boutique. I'm Dana Summers, and I am here with Ann
Chan.
And we are here to have a nice conversation with Chris Stahl at Silver Oak Mortgage. And we want to learn a little bit more about him. He is a phenomenal lender in our industry and has lots of golden nuggets to impart on us. So Chris, tell us a little bit about how long you've been in the lending field and then some fun facts about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I love your educational channels. It's a great way to get the information out to everybody. So this is my 29th year in Sacramento as a loan officer, which makes me old and quite a bit of experience. So I love mortgages. I always have. I graduated Sac State in 1989 with a degree in finance and a minor in economics, and went straight into lending, and I've just loved it ever since. Dealing with clients, and literally it sounds a little corny, but helping them to achieve and finance the American dream is just something I'm very, very passionate about. Especially in today's environment, there's so many variables and different nuances, both psychologically that's going on with the client, but also just, with the banks themselves. So kind of guiding people through this process. Some people may need incredible hand-holding. Others may have been their fourth or fifth time getting a mortgage, so we just go through it quickly. But I love kind of managing clients' fears and helping them through the process to get them the keys to their home.
And I like that you
I love
talk
working
about
with
that.
folks like you.
I like that you talk about their fears, because I feel that there's so much hype and media about lending and so many misnomers that I'm fearful that they have the wrong information. But when it imparts coming from someone like yourself with that experience, taking that fear away is a huge, huge benefit for us. Definitely.
It's when you talk about the fears, a lot of times too, there is misinformation out there. So an example is when a client goes on myfico.com or pulls up some free credit service, and they'll tell me what their credit score is. Well, it's usually accurate about 30% of the time, because when us lenders, we have our own system that we use to pull a residential mortgage credit report. And we find usually our credit scores are lower than what the clients were.
Yes.
Or we might find a collection account or something that wasn't on the client. So it's kind of dangerous for clients to rely solely on the free credit report services that are out there.
I would definitely agree. So working with buyers in your particular situation, you're across the board, correct? Because I know that you work with first-time buyers, move-up buyers, move-down buyers, 1031 exchange folks, people that, want to learn how to really, like with Boutique, we're very interested in investing in their long-term success. So you have that knowledge base. So tell us a little bit about that, how you work with families and generational systems within your business, because you've been doing it 29 years.
It's funny. I actually have been doing people's children's that were my first clients. I haven't done any grandkids yet, so hopefully that'll be a little while longer. But no, you know what? We're literally here to help people. We've always been that way. We always will. We don't do any advertising. It's all by personal referral. So if we do a great job for you, hopefully you'll tell your friends and families. But we do everything we can. Sometimes it might just be discuss credit repairs or things that can be done. For refinancing, sometimes I'll tell clients, don't refinance. And they'll be like, well, I got 3 other lenders telling me to refinance. And I'm all, hold on a second. You've been paying on this mortgage for 12 years. You've got 18 left. Yeah. So if you refinance it into a 30-year, yes, your payment might drop $250, but you just added 12 years back on your loan. Are you sure you want to do that? So having that kind of transparency is what I've always built my business on, and I love. And just, it's the golden rule, doing what's right for the client. But, whether it's a free consultation or we're actually doing your home loan, I'm here as a resource to help clients, get through the process. Obtaining a mortgage is not a fun process. The average client's going through this. It's I wish it was a more fun, happy-go process, and we try to make it as fun as it is. But just being honest with people, when you go through this process, I think sometimes it can be like a financial undressing. And what I mean by that is, let's look at your credit report. Why do you have back child support? What's this collection for? What's this? How come you're making less money?
Yeah.
A number of these factors can come out, and it's really got to be compassionate with the client because everybody's scenario is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do whatever we can to prepare the client to get the loan through underwriting. So there's kind of a before underwriting and an after underwriting scenario.
I think that the thing I love the most about you, Chris, is that you do work by referral, which is how we've always worked. And as long as I've been in this business, I prefer it. But you explain that, yes, it is a difficult process, but I think that you make it less painful because of the way that you deliver the information and you make the client feel comfortable. And then in our relationship, working together with a client, I don't need to know all of those details about their personal life.
Right.
And we're very good at separating those things. So with regard to them having to sit down and unveil all of the issues to how do we equate to my child support or my this or my that, I don't ever need to know those things. And you're very, very good about keeping that private and making the client feel like they're at ease. So then when they're working with me, I'm out there shopping, helping them find their either their move up home or their first home or their investment, right? Their first investment, and they feel really comfortable because they don't have to worry about all of their laundry being aired everywhere. And I feel that that's really important, and I love that a lot about the way that you do your business and the way your team supports you. And the client, it really takes their stress level down. So
Absolutely.
I respect that tremendously. So with regard to your team, you have a great team of support at Silver Oak. You came highly recommended to me for many years by more than one person. And so I'm very happy to say that now we've been able to come together and start working together with our clients. And it's been a blessing to me knowing that not only did you come highly recommended, but exactly what I was told is how you perform your business and conduct it. And our clients, they love repeat. They love that we have relationships long-term, and they love to work with people like yourself that they know that have similar values, right? So in doing that, we are going to have some additional things, hopefully once we get through COVID this year, where you all can meet Chris and get to know he and his team a little better and have some fun at some of our events. So tell us some fun things about maybe yourself and your family that we need to know.
Oh, fun things. Where do we go? My kids are now 21 and 19, so awesome. I've gone through that process there, to say the least. My son's serving in the military in El Paso, Texas, so I'm very proud of him.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
And it's helped me, for example, now, as soon as he joined, he said, Dad, I want to get a VA loan. Dad, I know I can purchase a home with zero down payment, right? So he hasn't bought a home yet, but he's working on that. But for us, I've been doing this long enough, and I like to have fun. I really do. And when we do meet with a client, it's a very serious thing to get a home loan, but we make it as fun as possible. So I'm very straightforward and honest with people and just let them know this is what we're looking at. Prepare them and educate them so they can make the best decision for what's going to work for their best loan option. So we have a great time going through the process, lots of changes, and part of it, I think, really our goal is to exceed the client's expectations.
Yes.
And the best way to do that, and I say this nicely, but is to lower their expectations.
Yes.
And what I mean is I'll hear other lenders say, oh, come on, this is going to be really easy. You just sign a couple forms, you move into a house. And I think really that's mean, frankly, to tell clients that, because it's a big deal getting a mortgage. The bank's going to give you maybe $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 or more.
Yes.
And so we're going to have to jump through some hoops, but we're going to educate you during that process. We're going to make it as fun as possible, and we will get there. Sometimes we meet with a client, they're ready to go right then, pre-approved. Others, I've worked with clients for up to a year.
Yeah.
Maybe we're raising their credit score. Maybe we're adding them as an authorized user on an account to get their score higher, or counseling or saving up money, whatever it may be. And new loan programs are always coming and going at the same time. So it's fun to build those relationships, because I know everything can be done automated now and through email, but to me, when you're buying a house, it's still heavy relationship oriented. And so we want to build that relationship.
And that translates into why you've been in business for 29 years, I will tell you, because when you under promise and over deliver, which is our goal all the time with every client, you win, because there's nothing worse than saying, well, you said this would be done in X amount of time. I really think people appreciate the transparency when they get it, if they have ever done a transaction before, because I will say that there's a tremendous percentage of people who can't even remember the last realtor and or lender that they worked with. And if they do, it's either phenomenal and they refer, every time they talk to somebody, they refer that person, or they tell 3 times that many people how horrible the situation was because they came in and said, I can do everything that you want me to do. I personally would prefer someone to give me the truth up front rather than to have to placate me later, because it is a very big decision. And in buying a home or an investment, it is the largest purchase you make unless you buy an island, a yacht, or a plane. And not a lot of people do that, and I'm sure they do down in Beverly Hills and all these fancy places all over. All three, right? But ultimately, the purchase that they make of a home is a bank account. And one of the things that I really try to educate people is when you're putting a down payment into your home, Chris knows that that is just simply them taking their investment money from one bank and putting it into another. It is a bank, and it's where your money's held, which is why you want someone like Chris advising you on what to purchase and what not to purchase and when not to purchase. So I love that.
When to refinance,
right?
Like you just said.
Exactly, and when not to refinance, because working with someone that's on the fund refinance playing field isn't always perfect for you, because you're just about done with paying your mortgage off, and you don't want to add all sorts of additional costs. But also, we too, as a company, our motto is, if it's not time to sell or buy, we tell someone this isn't time to sell or buy. It is not driven by what we need as a quota to cover our business. So that's why I love working with Silver Oak, because they have the same MO. They don't have to do a refi for you or do a mortgage for you to pay their mortgage. They're very stable financial people. They make smart, stable financial decisions. Again, I'm sure he's a big Dave Ramsey fan, just like I am. And we want to make sure that you all win in working with our partners. So we're just super blessed to have him.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what other last few things that you want to share that you think are really important for people to know right now with some of the changes in our market, because there are quite a few?
That's a great question. And I will tell you, in doing this for 29 years, the biggest thing to get out there is nobody knows.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so we may start a process and get going in it, and I may call you 2 weeks into it and say, sorry, I know we didn't need this, but now we need these bank statements, or now we need to do this, or now we had to jump through this hoop, because underwriting guidelines are literally changing daily, and they used to change like maybe quarterly.
Yes.
And so we're seeing a lot of that, especially with self-employed buyers. We want to get them pre-approved for sure ahead of time. And by the way, just for my services to get pre-approved, there's absolutely no cost.
Love it.
No cost for the credit report, no cost for our consultation. So if we meet and we do all this and you decide it's something that doesn't work, or you decide not to buy, there's no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you're going to get an education out of our meeting.
Yes.
So I highly encourage people to do that. Also, if you have any concerns about your credit report, we don't charge to pull your credit report. So we're happy to pull it for you so you can find out what your score really is from the mortgage standard.
Awesome.
Also, on top of that, we are a mortgage broker here at Silver Oak Funding, which is definitely where you want to be, especially in this market. And what that means is we're approved with many different banks. So we're going to shop you for the lowest rates, the loan for the lowest rates. And we're going to look at which banks have the least amount of guidelines, because right now, some of the banks are more conservative than others. And I used to work for a bank most of my career, and now I'm a broker, and I love it much more, because I would have to give loans away sometimes to other banks and trust that they're going to do it as a banker, because I couldn't do it. But as a broker now, I have many, many resources. So if it doesn't fit here, it might fit there. We had a VA purchase last week. and the borrower's credit score was a little bit on the low side.
Okay.
And we shopped all the different banks, and the range of rates for this particular borrower was 3.75 at one lender. Again, he had a lower credit score, and 4.25 at the highest lender.
Wow. Yeah.
So it allows us to match each particular borrower scenario with the best lender.
Awesome.
So it's a great place to be. I'm very excited. I know there's a lot of chaos out here, but all the gurus are saying it. And I think we're going to see this. We're going to see a strong fourth quarter for purchases. There's a lot of pent-up demand out there. And I think if we can focus on some of the good news, but I think we're going to see a very, very, very strong quarter in the fourth quarter. I think you're going to see more buyers out there and sellers, and it's going to be a really robust market for us.
I like hearing that, because ultimately that's really what I'm seeing. I'm staying away from the fear-based mentality, and I really don't watch a lot of news. I stay away from the news as much as possible, but I do research all of the trusted sites and locations like yourself and people that are actually transacting every day. So I really see the fourth quarter coming in. I do encourage sellers right now, if it is a good time for them to sell, depending on their particular situation, to get out there and buy and sell, or sell and buy, because the rates are wonderful. They're tremendous. And we are going to have that little hiccup, Chris, that I know that's going to happen when we have some of the furlough scenarios, and then we start coming out of this COVID scenario. People are ready to buy, and they're going to have a short time where they didn't have a normal paycheck, and some funky stuff's going to happen. But I know on the other side of that little bubble, there's going to be a race toward getting homes on the market to sell and gone, because there will be a lot of job changes. There will be a lot of relocations. And I see that coming. So if you are looking for resources for that, I definitely recommend that you reach out to Chris at Silver Oak and you find out for yourself what you can plan ahead earlier than later. I recommend that even if you're thinking of buying in a year or 2 years, you always find your relationship with your lender now, and then you work that process together. So it's fine if all of a sudden you decide to sell or buy and you want to call a lender. That's great. But the sooner you build that relationship, the better for you, because the better they can make sure that your scenario fits the best possible scenario to get the best rate and the best program for you. So
Absolutely.
Anything awesome in closing that you want us to know?
I think it's from an interest rate perspective, rates are already at historic lows, and I think you're going to see them go even a little lower, believe it or not. So I just think this is a really great time to be entering the market. I really do. I know it's crazy, but if you hold this rate for a long period of time, some people are waiting. I think home prices are going to come down. Well, they might, but what if interest rates go from 3 to 5%?
Right.
Just offset any of the price break you might have gotten. So I think now is a great time. To me, it's always a great time to buy a house if you're going to hold on to it. So I just think we're very fortunate here. You mentioned earlier, but when you make your house payment, the principal portion I consider a forced savings account.
It is.
That's reducing your loan balance every time. Historically, we will see appreciation. Yes, home prices go up and down for sure, but we will see appreciation. And then we've got the tax benefit of owning a home.
Absolutely.
So to me, I've always been that way. It's just I'm gung-ho on it. And, I think achieving the highest level of home ownership percentage we can is really great for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. And I really want you to know how much I appreciate the time that you spent with us today. We are going to do it again. You're going to hear more from Chris. But again, let me ask you to go ahead. I know that Jason has his information on the screen, but I also want to have you give us a shout out. Can you go ahead and give us just your contact phone number to reach out if anybody had any questions with regard to what we talked about?
Absolutely. Call me on my cell phone. It's 916-768-8000.
And again, that's 916-768-8000, correct?
Yep, that's it.
Yep, and if you have some questions, just put it into the question field down there on this YouTube. You can catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we're all over the place. We love working with Chris, and we're super excited to hear from y'all. And give us a heads up on any of the information that you felt was valuable or that you'd like to hear more about. Again, Dave Summers, this is Real Talk with Boutique, and I've got Ann Chan with me, and Chris Stahl. So we thank you so much for your time today, and we are looking forward to seeing you out there, and it is a great time to buy real estate always.